Welcome to a brand new ranking. I know it is late, guys. We're just starting July, but I'm here to stop and rank all the movies, all 9 that I saw in the month of June, which I thought was a pretty hectic, chaotic month. A lot of movies are coming out. It's getting more chaotic as we get into July, but it's back time. Going to the theater a lot of streaming movies as well. So let's get started with the ranking 9 movies. Before my name is Max Mo to a brand new ranking. Please like the video. Again, Max Innenberg, like the video. Please also consider subscribing to the channel, ring that bell. I do these rankings every single month. Also, please consider, I also do movie reviews, TV show reviews, these type of rankings, streaming platform reviews, and a box office breakdown show. If you like any one of those things, please consider subscribing, ringing the bell for notifications if you're new to the channel. Comment down below also your ranking. I want to hear your guys' ranking. What movies did you see in the month of June, and rank them for me? We're going to have some disagreements here, I know for sure. So let's talk about it as well. Let's start off with this ranking, guys, of these movies. I saw 9 movies, a really busy month for me, as I just said. So let's get started. Coming in, guys, at number 9 is a movie that I don't think anyone was talking about, and that is called Awake. It's the new Gina Rodriguez Netflix movie, which has easily escaped my mind to even talk about this on this video. It's not a good movie whatsoever. It's a really interesting premise about how people are dying because they can't fall asleep in this post-apocalyptic world. But Gina Rodriguez's daughter can sleep, and she's kind of the next person. Everyone's looking to her because she can stay alive. That premise is great, but the characters surrounding this movie, other than the daughter of this movie, is quite awful. The son isn't very good. Gina Rodriguez's character is just a mother on the run. That's kind of it, pretty stereotypical. The daughter was the best part of the entire movie. She noted a lot, really good acting from her. There's a lot of twists and turns with the scientists of it all, but it just feels like a misstep for Netflix. It was not a very good attempt. It was pretty much, this is one of the most boring movie experiences I've had all year. It's one of the most forgettable movie experiences I've had all year, and that's why it comes in at number 9. Coming in number 8, guys, is a movie on Hulu, which I just talked about, an A24 film, shocker to say that, is False Positive. False Positive was a movie that I was quite excited for with his cast. Ilana Glazer, who comes from comedy, going horror, with Justin Theroux and Pierce Brosnan. And while Pierce Brosnan steals the entire movie, is clearly the best performance in the entire film, the film does fall completely flat, especially when you look at A24 as a movie studio. We'll talk about one of their other movies here coming soon. I really did not like this movie. I wanted to like this movie a lot more than I did. Pierce Brosnan, it's one of the most predictable, I think it is the most predictable A24 film they've ever done. It's basically a Rosemary's Baby type of thing, where Ilana Glazer and Justin Theroux play this couple wanting to have kids for 2 years, and then Ilana Glazer's character, they go to this miracle doctor played by Pierce Brosnan, and other horrifying stuff starts to happen. Once you see really, as I said in my review, my first scene with the 3 of them on screen together, you knew where the plot was going to go, start, middle, end. You knew it all. And that's when a movie it was one of the most predictable, maybe the most predictable movie of the entire year thus far, which is a huge disappointment coming from A24, who have great atmosphere, a really good sense of twists and turns, and this movie just did not do it for me. Again, before I also move on with my ranking, guys, I've done all of these reviews, each individually videos of 8 to 12 minutes. So you want deeper dives in these reviews, you can click my playlist at the end of this video. But these will be short and brief talks about the movies. Coming in, guys, at number 7 this month was The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. I feel like this is on the same par with the first one. They're both fine action movies with fun actors, charismatic actors, which makes the movie watchable. This movie has a dumb plot, but it has these 5 actors in it, so the movie is completely watchable. I love Ryan Reynolds. I love Samuel Jackson. Salma Hayek steals the entire movie. She gets a pay grade, really, from the first one. She was really barely in the first one, and now she's really front and center with the film. She was really great. Antonio Banderas was a misused villain. Frank Grillo comes in here to give exposition once in a while. Morgan Freeman was a fun inclusion in the franchise. But overall, when you start looking at the plot of this movie, and for me, one of my worst parts about the film was just poorly done action scenes. There were no memorable action scenes at all in this entire movie. And when I put this in a cluster with a lot of other action movies this year that are around a 3 out of 5, this one ranks the lowest out of, really one of the lowest ones because it's not great action scenes. You don't really care about the story. The Ryan Reynolds Morgan Freeman relationship doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Antonio Banderas is a very, very weak villain. And we have a lot of ADR voiceover giving us exposition throughout the entire film. It just doesn't, for me, it's a fine movie. It was a fun movie to watch in the theater. I was laughing throughout, and these are really great actors. But for me, the story is just like the first one, is not very good. Coming in, guys, at number 6 this week is Fast and Furious 9, F9, The Fast Saga. Again, I'm a huge fan. I've already done my ranking of the entire franchise on this on my YouTube channel. This movie, again, just very similar to Hitman's Bodyguard, but I did like this a lot more than him. Not a lot more, but I gave it the same grade. I had a very fun time watching this in a sold-out Thursday night IMAX theater. It was a really fun experience with me and my brother went to this movie. But overall, when it stacks up with the rest of the franchise, it just doesn't hold up for me. While the cast is really on point for the most part, maybe not John Cena, the action scenes are fun in this movie, which is why it puts it above Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. But this has a way more ridiculous plot. They show too much backstory between Dom and Jacob. The John Cena, Vin Diesel stuff, they really misused John Cena. I don't really blame John Cena. The adult version of Jacob is horribly written to a point where he has one fight with Vin Diesel the entire movie, which was a complete missed opportunity. You can really feel that this franchise was missing Paul Walker, Dwayne Johnson, and Jason Statham in the main films. You can really feel that those three are arguably the top 3 characters in the franchise are not in this film. And you can really feel that in some of the actions. But I still had fun. The magnets going to space. It's one of the most ridiculous movies you'll ever see. I know we're getting 2 more, but again, they don't really explain anything. But the main issue with the film is that it has a hard time balancing tones. Doesn't want to be a serious melodrama about the Torettos, or doesn't want to be a ridiculous action film. And they're both in this movie. And that's why this film at times just doesn't really click. Let's keep going with this ranking, and coming in at number 5 is Luca, Pixar's new movie, which I was obviously dying for. I'm the biggest Pixar fan ever. I love Pixar. I grew up with Pixar. Every movie I'm dying to see. Sad that Pixar, this and Soul are both only available on Disney Plus. You couldn't see this in a theater. But for me, this is actually one of the more flat, disappointing Disney Pixar movies in a while. Now, I did like the movie. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. I think it's a solid movie, but they were clearly swinging for a single or a double than a home run. And you can really feel that with the story. The best part of the movie is these 2 main characters, Alberto, played by Jack Dylan Grazer, and Luca, voiced by Jacob Tremblay. Their brotherhood, you can feel it throughout the entire film. You care about both characters. The actual look of being in Italy for the entire film was a really great idea. And the film, again, beautifully animated. The triathlon that they do with eating pasta, swimming, doing all of this stuff was really, really fun. And the idea of a premise of, I mean, in your water, you're a sea monster. When you come out, you're a human person. That was great. But for me, the script just felt very, again, not just predictable. I don't need to get emotional in Pixar movies to like a Pixar movie, but it just, something didn't feel special at all with the film. And that was a huge issue. The villain is maybe one of the worst villains in the entire Pixar legacy. It's a really weak villain who you've seen in a billion other movies before. And it just didn't touch me at all emotionally. It just feels like a plot that you've seen in a billion other animated movies. And they also don't explain things. They don't explain why they're turning into sea monsters when they go in the sea and humans outside. They never explain that. There's a lot of stuff that just isn't explained in the movie, but it's a nice little Pixar movie. Again, I like the movie. I wanted to love the movie, and I certainly did not do that. Let's keep going, guys, with number 4 this month. Oh, sorry, backtrack. I'm very, very sorry, but you're going to have to backtrack from Luca. Luca comes in, by the way, at number 4. Coming in at number 5, my mistake, was America the Motion Picture. I completely missed that. I was looking at my list and I completely skipped over America the Motion Picture. So America the Motion Picture comes in at number 5. Luca is coming in at number 4. That is correct. So America the Motion Picture is a Netflix animated movie that just came out on Netflix. It's a Phil Lord, Chris Miller produced rated R film based on true events, just a fictional depiction of the American Revolution, hard R. And I had a fun, again, enough time with this film. I did like this one better than Fast 9 and Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard, just because I had a more fun time watching the movie. There's some hilarious jokes in the film. The characters are fun to watch. And it seems so fresh compared to all animated content out there. I talked about in my review, we've seen rated R animated content, nothing quite like this. But for me, the story just didn't come all the way together. George Washington really is the only character who has a real arc in the entire film. They use too many pop culture references from today's pop culture. And at times it got a quite bit annoying, especially with the Benedict Arnold King James Star Wars references. They really beat over Star Wars references over the head in the movie. And that was a pretty big disappointment, but still the characters were fun. The voice cast led by Channing Tatum was really fun to watch on screen. So once again, guys, America, the motion picture, coming in number 5. Number 4 is Luca. Moving in number 3, and a lot of people are going to be sad by this, but I agree. I like this movie a lot. And that is The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. This is a movie that I have as my number 12 movie of the year. Now, a lot of people have been a little bit salty, as I would say, about the film. And I totally get that. It's nowhere near the standards of the first and second Conjuring films. It's not. But I've watched the film twice. I watched it first in theaters in IMAX on opening day. I watched it in my Conjuring Universe rewatch after that on HBO Max. I really dig this movie. The biggest reason why is that the Warrens are just one of my favorite movie horror characters of all time. They're must-watch TV when they're on screen. I just love Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga as these roles. And what takes you through the movies that their love prevails over any of the villainous, devilish acts that happen throughout the film. And that was such a strong message that really stuck with me. Even though I've seen the movie twice, it still sticks with me. Their relationship, I want to see more Conjuring films just because I want to see these two characters continue on. Also, Rory O'Connor as the kid who gets possessed. The Devil Made Me Do It, the first ever court case where someone came out saying the devil, demonic possession was affected their murder. That case was interesting. A lot of people said we need more court cases. We don't. It's a Conjuring movie. We're not here just for the court case. We're here for the horrifying things. It is the least scariest film, though. Of the 3 Conjuring films, I thought that the villain's connection to this old man did not work at all for me. The villainous backstory and why she's doing things, I didn't really like the villain. But overall, love prevailing in this movie. Definitely put it at number 3. Coming in number 2 is Zola, a movie that no one is talking about. It's an independent film that just came out, a pretty wide, though, independent film for A24 that just came out this past Tuesday with Taylor Page and Riley Keough and Colman Domingo and Nicholas Braun. Based off a Twitter thread in 2015, it's now an hour and a half movie that I really did love. I really did love this movie. It's really fun. It's really, first of all, it's the definition of a dark comedy. We're kind of laughing throughout the entire film, but the amount of times you feel uncomfortable, there's so many twists and turns with the film. I never really, because I didn't really read the Twitter threads, I really didn't know where the story was going. And that was so exciting to sit in a movie and let the writers and let the direction and let the actors tell me where the story is going to go without me having to contemplate what is going to happen in the next scene. It was really fascinating seeing Colman Domingo steal the entire movie as X, who's like the pimp who helps Riley Keough set up all these sex workers. Sorry, if you haven't seen the film's about Taylor Page, who plays Zola, who is a dancer in, I forgot where she's from, but she meets Riley Keough, who's a sex worker, who takes her with her pimp and her boyfriend to Florida to possibly dance, but it turns out to be a lot worse than that. And that's how the journey begins. Riley Keough and Taylor Page are fantastic in the movie. 2 of the best really, Riley Keough is one of the best female performances of the entire year. Her character was really fantastic. She makes you really uncomfortable and very unlikable, but for some reason, you're still laughing at whatever she says throughout the entire film. Taylor Page was this brave sense of innocence. But there were 2 things I didn't like about the movie. One, the ending just felt way too abrupt. And there's a couple subplots involving Taylor Page's boyfriend that didn't really work out that well, and a couple other ones. But for me, overall, I really did love this movie. I had to think about it. Please go support these filmmakers. They're independent films. If you can see Zola in your area, definitely see Zola. And coming in number 1, a movie that for some reason no one is seeing, and that is In the Heights. I love In the Heights. It's one of my favorite movies of the year, not just in the month of June. It's one of my favorite musicals since La La Land, which was 5 years ago. It's really fantastic. The whole cast, Anthony Ramos, Corey Hawkins, the music from Lin-Manuel Miranda, the characters. Why I love this movie so much is that it's about good people, good characters. There's no villains. The villains is really just the blackout of this town, but you really learn about Washington Heights. It's an authenticated Hispanic, Dominican Republic, all these different type of cultures, it feels really authentic because the characters just feel real, like real people. They don't feel like characters. They're going through real life situations. A lot of the characters are really relatable. The songs are really fresh and unique. And In the Heights, for me, just one of my favorite movies of the year. I'm going to plan on rewatching this very, very soon, but there's so much to watch right now. But that's my ranking, guys, of the month of June. Sorry about that America the Motion Picture mixed up with Luca. But please like, subscribe, do all those things. I'll see you soon.